What's happening?
What's going on?
Oh, sorry. That was kind of loud, wasn't it?
What's happening? Yeah.
What's
super
everybody?
fun.
That's Adam Maness. My name is Peter Martin.
That's
and
Peter Martin.
It's, what is it? You'll hear it Monday.
You'll hear it Monday. Peter, let me ask a question.
Ask me.
I put in the chat there, we're not going live until we get 50 likes.
Yeah, we did it.
Super dogmatic, and yet you went.
Well, I did say, are you ready? And you said yes.
I did. I forgot about all that.
Yeah, it's all good.
What's going on, everybody?
It was like a preemptive thing. We know people are going to be coming.
We're here. I'm not texting anybody. I'm just reading the chat here as we go live.
Okay.
So, yeah, everything looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, I love it when a plan comes together. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
How you been this week?
I've been pretty good, man. I had a couple of days at the end of the week that were kind of to myself, which were really nice. You know how sometimes you just need a little time just in your hidey hole?
Yeah.
To just,
Wait, did you just say hidey hole?
Hidey hole.
What the hell is a hidey hole?
I got a piano in my hidey hole.
Okay.
I had a sofa.
Okay.
I got a turntable. And I was just kind of sheltering in place, but in a not in that kind of way.
Wow. Is it like a safe room?
A little bit. It's a little bit like a safe room.
Is this Adam's happy special safe place?
It really is. But nice. I got a lot done in my little hidey hole.
Okay.
And so, yeah, man.
And you got out into nature a little bit, I think I saw, on the gram.
Did, yeah.
Did I see that on the gram?
Heather and I went down to Johnson Shut-ins in South Central Missouri.
South Central?
Yeah, not like that. And, no, we had a great time. We just went for a little hike. And then I took the kids on a little hike on Saturday. So, yeah, man, we got out there. Got into nature, always a good idea. Just kind of recharging the old batteries.
The batteries. Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Well, we are excited to be back. We missed. Was it last week? We didn't miss, but we're not. We're here every week that we can be. We enjoy, playing together, talking about music for this nice hour on Mondays. Kind of getting warmed up for doing our You'll Hear It audio podcast. And if you guys are not on the pod, should we just kick them off the live if they aren't on the pod? What do you think?
No, you could be wherever you want, but please check the pod.
Yeah, get with the pod. Come on.
Yeah.
The pod is available where?
Anywhere you get your podcasts.
Okay, there you go. And it's called You'll Hear It. It's similar to what we do here, but even, dare I say, better. Not better, just different because it's audio
different. Only. This is video where we get to interact live with our people who are here in the chat. And the podcast, though, is something that we've been doing. You know how many episodes we have at this point?
Yes, I do. We have 800 and something. Is that possible?
It is totally possible.
Yeah. That's so awesome.
I know.
Man, you are illuminated blue over there. Look at that.
I know. I turned it up. It's looking good.
So nice.
It's looking good.
I've got a little blue, but, it's all good.
So today is actually a pretty special day, Peter. I don't know if you know this or not, but we launched a new course this weekend. And so it's called Language of the Masters.
Yes.
And a user described it as like, you'll hear it on steroids, where we listen to 5 of the greatest piano solos of all time. We break it down. Yep. We analyze it. We have a beautiful workbook of all the transcriptions of all 5 piano solos.
The workbook's really awesome. I didn't even know that was going to be part of that, and I downloaded that as I have a complimentary membership. I don't know if you have one to All Things Open Studio, but
I do actually.
I was very impressed with the workbook. It's just a fun little PDF situation. We're not printing them out necessarily because we're trying to save the planet, but if you want to print it out, it's all good.
It's all good. So anyway, so we have this new course, and for our members today only, I don't know if you know this, Peter, but we do have a bit of a discount.
Do we?
We do.
I thought we weren't doing that kind of thing anymore.
We are today. Okay. $30 for just our live people, and this doesn't stay up. So this is just for you guys, and we're going to put the link here right in the chat. If you go,
that's very generous of you, Adam.
It is. Well, it's more Sam than me.
Okay,
but it's $30 off the new course, Language of the Masters, and you can get that right there. And we'll put it into the description for all you. We like to hook them up. So there it is.
Well, I think it's fun too because this is we actually recorded a great deal of the course right here in this room. But there's several components to it. I think the transcriptions are a big chunk. I think that our analysis the analysis I think is good, but there's always different views on that. But I think it can kind of I think of it as a way to sort of get people thinking about how to apply the transcription process, learning somebody's solo, studying somebody's solo, living with somebody's solo. How do you apply that to not just like the licks that you can play in the phrases, but like to your joy and connection with the music as you grow as an improviser,
Yeah.
And so I think it's something that we talk about a lot here on the pod. and in the lives and stuff. And hopefully we give people some inspiration with that. But this is more of like a very, very specific, thorough breakdown. I mean, you and I separately and then together really dove into these solos that we, in different ways kind of knew over the years at different levels. We both suggested some, but we were both really familiar with them. But I know for me, I came away with a whole new appreciation after hearing your, kind of ideas and your GPSs and stuff, and just really to be able to sit. It's almost like you go to an art museum and you see some beautiful art. You're like, wow, I love Matisse. That's great. But this is like you go in and you're like, okay, everybody get out of the room. I'm going to like check it out with different light. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to touch it. I'm going to, do some things you're not normally allowed to do in the art museum, and really like look at it through some different lighting and prisms, and like how can you apply it to your art. It's not how can you just copy that, but how can you apply it?
Yeah, where's this metaphor going to take us? This is great, man. This is good stuff. It was super fun. So we first of all, so we have some people saying they bought it this weekend. That's awesome. So John, if you want to send us, reach out, reply to any email that we sent you about the course, and we're happy to send you $30 off the regular price. This
$30
is only
credit.
$30 credit. This is only for people watching live now. So
yeah,
check out that link, and if you bought the course already, hit us up. We're happy to just let them know that you were on the live show.
Yes.
We're super stoked about it. Okay.
What's up, Simon? What's up, Zach? Okay, Chris. I don't know if Chris has already said something funny. Chris always says something funny. Have you noticed that?
Just a funny guy.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah.
And Juan from Oslo. Man, every time I see Oslo, I just have, it's great to live in a place or be from a place that when somebody who has visited, as I have just a few times, but every little interaction and experience I've had there has been so positive and so memorable. So whenever I see that city listed, I get excited.
Yeah.
I get a little excited.
Yeah.
Memories.
So
what's up, John?
So we should. How do you want to do the live show today? Because it's a little bit different. Because we got something a little bit different queued up for it. But we could still do our features if you want.
Oh, I love the features.
We could at least do some questions. Because we got a Twitter question. Yes. Did you see that?
I did see that, and I think I could even bring that up if you're interested. What, you want to start there?
Yeah, let's start with some questions. We have some good questions in here already on the chat.
This is viewer questions. This is our segment called viewer questions.
Hold on. Viewer questions.
Okay. There we go. So this is the time when we take your questions both live, and look, you can even tweet us in real time, but we have a brand new Twitter, and this is partly a ploy to pull you back into the Twitter sphere. Twitter sphere. I don't know.
Yeah.
Land of Twitter. Did you get hurt as a little boy in Twitter land? Because you seemed a little anti-Twitter for a while.
I didn't get hurt, but I'm still anti-Twitter. I just don't like it, man. I don't like the way I feel when I'm on it. It gets me angry. You know what I mean? I feel like it's just people.
You're following the wrong people, man.
It's people spinning out.
Following the wrong people.
I tried following the right people, even the right people, like funny people, or contemplative people. They get all angry about shit. That makes me angry. I don't want to be angry like that.
Okay, I got it. Yeah. So only go to You'll Hear It. There's nothing to get angry about there. Or You'll Hear It. Let's take a look at that. Twitter. So the way you would find such a thing would be twitter.com/You'll Hear It. But this is a cool place. You can put some questions. You'll Hear a podcast. Yeah. And talk with Adam and I, and we can have some fun. Should I pull up the first question?
Yeah.
And then we can do some ones in the. Also, just feel free to put them in the chat.
If you got a question, now is the time.
Okay. Question number 1. This is from Cosmic Fluff. What do you know about that, Adam? Cosmic Fluff.
I like that.
How about various ways to cope with stress and performance anxiety and getting in a good mindset when it's time to perform in front of others?
That's a great question.
You've come to the right couple of guys here when you're using words like anxiety, mindset, in front of others. These are all buzzwords and keywords for things that we like to talk about.
If my wheelhouse had a wheelhouse, Peter.
This is the wheelhouse that we carry our wheelhouses around it.
Yeah.
Okay, so stress and performance anxiety. Let me just start with that, because I think that possibly one way of relieving some stress is to know that when you go into a performance situation, you're going to have some anxiety. Okay. But I would say stress and anxiety, maybe, I don't know about the clinical definitions, but to me, they're a little bit different. Like stress is okay. Like stress is kind of, you're being stretched a little bit. Maybe I'm just saying that because they both start with STR. I'm not sure. But you know what I'm saying though? Like you can have some positive stress, or at least stretching, some uncomfortability. Let's call it that. Being uncomfortable is okay. You don't want it to turn into anxiety. And what is the easiest way, Adam, for us to keep it from becoming anxious and anxiety ridden by stress or being stretched? What's the easiest way
to keep it from
turning into anxiety?
Well, for me, are you looking for a certain answer? That's a big question.
Well, sorry, I thought I was throwing you I was thinking like preparation.
Oh, preparation.
100%.
Yeah,
preparation.
So you were looking for
I mean, I thought, we're finely tuned machine here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so in other words, when you go into a situation, a performance situation, there's going to be variables that you can't control. What can you control when you go into it?
Right.
Practicing, listening, meditating,
know the music,
eating the right food. I mean, like doing everything you can so that when you come in, not that you're looking for a perfect, knowing the music.
That's the most important.
Not knowing
part.
it perfectly.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going for that, but being comfortable that you're at 97% or maybe even at 77%, depending on how much time you had.
Yeah.
But like, you know that you're doing everything you can, because then I find I don't get as much into that anxiety area when I'm like, you know what, I've done everything I can do. Let me just enjoy the moment. Let me just see what can happen. Now, the more prepared you are, the better you know the music, the less likely you are to get lost and to do other things that can spiral into a kind of, a little bit of an out of control situation that can be, that you can get stuck in anxiety that you can't get out of then.
Yeah, the anxiety and the stress of the situation are killer. And here's why. Mostly because, and we were talking, it's so funny, we were talking about this in Open Studio Pro today. We're doing all these improv games, and we're really dealing with confidence and swagger and how to
get your swag on.
Exactly, the head game of being a musician.
Yeah.
And man, like for me, one of the biggest things, if I have a bad experience performing, I don't walk away being like, oh, wow, I was really myself and it was bad. Like I played badly as myself. It's usually because I'm trying to be something I'm not, or I'm in my head and I'm not playing the way I know I can play. And so I usually leave being like, what was I doing? I wasn't even playing like myself. I was trying to be something that I thought the audience wanted, or Peter thinks I should be, or whatever. You know what I mean? Whatever the situation is, you're very nice about it. But like you're trying to be.
Oh, sorry.
Is that trying to be something?
It's not cutting you off. It's just, I don't know.
But when that's the worst feeling. You leave, you're like, okay, well, that was bad. And I wasn't even myself. I was trying to be someone else and it didn't work out. Why didn't I just try to be myself and do what I can do?
Right.
And the key to that is knowing that part of every player is things like mistakes.
Yeah.
Things like not being perfect is part of this game.
Yes.
The best players that we hear are never always perfect.
No.
It would be so boring if John Coltrane would always be perfect, or Miles was always perfect, or Monk was always...
Well, they were actually.
No,
Sorry.
well, they were because they just accepted everything as it was, and it was perfect because they're perfect. We are perfect as we are.
Yes.
Presenting the music. If we're serving the music and we're being free and open and perfect as we are, you can't play a wrong note. You can't mess up. Mess ups are part of it. It's part of being human. It's part of being the perfect beings that we are.
Yes.
Accept that. It's a long game, Cosmic Dust or whatever, Cosmic Fluff.
Cosmic Fluff.
But it's worth exploring, right?
Yes.
This of like our little small brains, they get in there and they're like, you're not this enough, or you're not that enough, or Peter's has way more chops than you. You'll never be able to blah, blah, blah. That kind of game is a killer, because then you try to do something you can't do, as opposed to just accepting where you are, having fun with it, being yourself, and then at least you've left that on the table as opposed to some other crap that doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's so well put, and I think that that really speaks to the part of the question about getting in a good mindset when it's time to perform. If you're thinking along these lines, like you said, service, the listener, the music, like get away from yourself. It's a funny thing, because a lot of times we think, oh, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm not good enough, and you think you're putting your ego to the side. You're actually being kind of egotistical when you talk like that, because not you, I mean, just all of us. And look, we're all going to go through this. This is about improving the kind of mindset we can have before we get to a performance situation, and working on that and improving over time. This is not like, Peter and Adam gave some good advice, now we're just going to flip a switch. No, this is a process that we go through, and not just us. I mean, a lot of, you want to get a lot of different ideas for this, but the idea being that if you're getting into a mindset of service to the music, to the listeners, to the other players, put yourself last, then I find that the anxiety and stuff isn't as much, because I'm not putting those expectations on myself outside of like, let me do my job, to the best of my ability, not let me, because a lot of times we get anxiety when we're like, what do people think of us? what are they going to think? Why am I not doing this?
Totally.
But not in terms of
then it becomes like, I need to do more of this in order for them to think I'm this.
Exactly.
But you are perfect as you are. That's what I think Ethan is saying. Yes, humans are perfect, with a little like wink, like, that's not true. Yes, we are certainly far from perfect, but that's part of our perfection. Those imperfections are part of the perfection. Like, you have to accept
100%.
all of those things as the perfect you that you are.
Yeah.
All of the insecurities, those all being nervous is part of it.
Yeah.
Like, you have to accept it, or else you're just going to be trying to be something you're not.
Well, I mean, because think about, like, who is it, if you go to see somebody, you know, like, you go to see a road race. The person that finishes first, of course, that's great because they're fast, they're athletic, they're, you know, really excelling. But think about the person that's just like not worried about how they look. They might come in last place. They might be, you know, unable to even like move in a way that can get them there, but they're authentically being themselves. They're still covering that distance. A lot of times they're a lot more compelling to see that triumph than somebody who's just like perfectly in tune with everything. So when we think about our deficiencies and things that make us anxious, I'm not as well prepared, I don't have the technique, I'm not having any great ideas, and get away from that, like, how can I serve? How can I put my best foot forward? That's when we get ourselves into that spiraling thing. And I think that's when the stressors and with the adrenaline and the excitement, which is great, and the nervousness, nothing wrong with nervousness, but like, how do we keep those things from becoming anxiety? Because then we're getting anxious and then we're getting paralyzed and we can't even do the stuff that we really want to do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to first notice that that's what's happening, that you're getting anxious, and that's part of it. You have to accept that that's part of it, and then you have to work with that and admit that that's what's happening. If you just try to like beat it off like a monster, like beat it back at the door, it's just going to come in stronger and stronger and stronger. So you have to just let it in. It's all part of it. We are what we are perfectly.
Yes.
And so just let that be what it is. When Miles Davis goes for a note and kind of cacks the note, is that not a perfect Miles Davis moment?
Right.
It's perfectly Miles, right? All of those things that he's going for. And do you ever think Miles was like,
I know.
You know, no, not once.
And then everybody thinks of like Miles and certain other performers as being super like egotistical and stuff. But actually, if you are so much into yourself and everything, you would never go for something that you're only going to go for the stuff that you're not going to cack and that you're going to perfectly execute. But it's like, it doesn't mean you don't prepare as much as you can. I mean, it's just like you go out on stage, you want to have your clothes looking right so you look presentable, maybe even nice to the audience. You're not going out there trying to be a slob and being like, it doesn't matter. But that's out of service to others. Exactly. You know, it's like we don't really get dressed for, I mean, people that dress for themselves are never as interesting fashion-wise, I don't think, as when you dress to like, you know, not impress others, but to be pleasing looking. It's the same thing like how you play, but it doesn't mean there can't be some mistakes in there that are interesting. All right. We nailed that one.
Yeah. A lot of great comments here. Noriko. Hold on. Oh, Simon. There are no mistakes in jazz music, only opportunities. Noriko. Mental that affects the play is the panic mode when I realized that I hit a wrong note for my case. Sarah says, I had to let anxiety destroy me before I was able to find passion in music again.
Interesting.
Appreciator of honest music. Another mindset question from Matthew. How many bars ahead should one be thinking? Seems the answer could be anything from 0, being in the moment, to what I think Jimmy Smith maybe once said, 20 bars. I mean, that's the thing, is it's all happening in real time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That Jimmy Smith was he was prone to hyperbole. I know when I was got a chance to hang out with him just a few times when he was still with us, one of the most amazing organists and musicians. But I wouldn't take too much like, I mean, 20 bars ahead. I think, I definitely think even like what we're talking about, sort of not being crippled by anxiety, it's like you never want to be looking back. So you want to be like at the place we're at or a little bit ahead for sure, because if you're thinking about what you just played, you know, that's a possibility to really bring on some anxiety possibly. But on the other hand, you have to be listening in the moment in a way. I think the time doesn't necessarily correlate exactly in a linear fashion. So what I mean is like, you can't just be like, oh, I'm thinking about 4 bars ahead, but I'm not listening to what I'm doing now.
It's all happening at the same time.
It's all happening at the same time.
Totally.
And also what...
Oh, man, we're getting really... This is great. This is like right in my zone, man.
Yeah, but I mean, you're also, to a certain degree, you are thinking about what was just played, especially like when there's a break between phrases, because you got to let that resonate for the listener and for you.
Yeah.
We got to be listeners and players at the same time. That's the biggest thing, I think, in order to have fun and enjoy this and really put on a great performance. It's like, soccer players or football players or whatever, they're on the sidelines sometimes. They can't just zone out when they're not actually playing. They got to be like watching like a fan, but they also have to be watching like a player so that when they go in, they know how to fit. But the really good ones are like excited and cheering. They're a cheerleader, but they're also like appreciating the art of what's happening. So I think that's why like playing solo piano can be such a challenge, because you're doing everything kind of at once. So you're listening to what you just played, but you're primarily in the moment, I think, but you are thinking ahead just a little bit. I'm never 20 bars. I don't even know how I would do that, but I'm definitely like leaning forwards and pushing forwards always.
Yeah. I'm maybe, I don't know. I try not to be too ahead either of what I'm doing. Honestly, I'm trying to listen more to what's happening like right in the moment than anything else.
Yeah.
Every time I've tried to plan, and obviously I'm no Jimmy Smith. It's obvious to everyone, but
well, you got some years ahead of you still. See,
man,
we don't know where we're going if we don't know where we've been.
But anytime I try to plan ahead too far, then I just try to meet that expectation. It ends up not being in the moment. There's definitely an art to like. I mean, you want to have. I could see where this is like you have your architecture, right?
Yeah.
And you kind of know where things are going to happen and how things could happen, but you have to in the moment be open to the air in the room so that you can be true to what's happening.
Yeah. So. And I think ultimately like we can kind of relax a little bit with this question and not worry about exactly where you are making those adjustments. You can kind of just be in the moment, and that will have some overlap behind you, and especially overlap going forwards, and that's no problem.
Man, I kind of want to play again now that we're talking about it. I want to try it out.
We had a good question from, actually Juan said something great here. There's no peace in focusing on ourselves, I think, because we don't have the answers. We don't know if we are good, bad, deserving, undeserved, and etc. It only gives me anxiety thinking about myself. Exactly.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you make a video called "The Notes Don't Matter"? I don't know. I feel like I heard something about that. We don't matter. You know what I mean? We're just cogs in part of but the greater part, the greater whole is important. So if you're part of an ensemble, an orchestra, or solo piano, whatever, you're still just serving the thing, doing your part. But it's not about you. It's not about you.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Question: is there anything you guys feel is a personal weakness that makes you a bit insecure? I feel I have a weak harmonic ear. It's taken me a long time to be able to play songs by ear. That's from Juan. Yeah. I mean, I think every musician has their own little things that we're all, I mean, just every person has tons of insecurities or whatever. I don't know. I mean, I think part of the game here, Juan, is just accepting those as part of your playing personality.
Yes.
Right. So other people are really good at certain things, and you're really good at your thing.
Yeah.
You should be the best Juan. You should be whatever that means. I get really, there's so many things I could talk about. I almost don't want to go into it because it could go down a rabbit hole. But I certainly have a ton of my own specific things that I have to remind myself, like, oh, you know what? I'm not Herbie Hancock. I'm just not. Like, as much as I want to be, I'm never going to be that. I have to be the best Adam that I can be. And that means something that's different, in my experience. As much as I love your playing, Peter, and we're super close and play a lot together here and stuff, whatever. Yeah. I do have to remind myself, I'm not Peter Martin. I have to do my own thing. I have to bring my own thing to the table.
Can you imagine two of me? That would cancel it out badly.
I don't know
I can't even take one.
Could fit two of you in this room.
Oh, watch it. Yeah, I mean, I think that being self-aware, which I think is kind of what Juan's alluding to, like in terms of strengths and weaknesses, is really important, for our development, because it can guide you into what to work on. You're never a lost cause for anything. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Until you're dead. As long as you still got breathing and working on stuff. And you might not see like huge advances or development in areas that are just inherently difficult for you, but it's never too late to be engaged in the process of improvement. And I find that the areas that I'm weakest in are really the most interesting areas to actually practice on.
Totally.
And to try to develop.
Absolutely.
Because stuff that you're strong on, that's more about ego again.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Nobody wants, And ultimately, it's not very satisfying to yourself, especially as you get older and you can be honest with yourself, because you're not really working on something. I mean, even if that's like a tune that you already really know well. Yeah. Oh, I'm going to go practice whatever. And if it's something that you feel like you've close to already mastering, it's not going to be that satisfying to work on.
No, it's really all about the struggle, isn't it? It's all about finding things that you do struggle with and then trying to work on them and then iron them out. That's what great players are doing all the time.
Absolutely. Finding
their weaknesses and then working them out. We've got some really good questions here.
Cool.
Let's see. Darmp Plies says...
Darmp Piles.
Not sure.
Plies.
Thoughts on the Kenny Warner Effortless Mastery School of Thought. So, I mean, that's what we're talking about, really.
Yeah.
We both read that book, I know.
Who?
Kenny Warner, great jazz pianist and has a
thinker.
And
and
really
writer.
was doing this in the 90s, but really it's mindfulness at the instrument. I think it's really valuable. I think anything that sort of gives you an idea that there's another space other than what does everybody think of me as I'm doing this, right? That there's another layer that you can sort of peel off of that. I think it's really good to always be exploring that kind of thing.
Yeah, good stuff.
And then Drella says, this is a really good question, actually. Hello, Adam and Peter. Greetings from Venezuela. My question is the following. I'm new to a big band group, and I suck at sight reading. Do you have any tips for getting better at sight reading?
Okay, good. Finally, an easier question.
This is straightforward. But this actually
a little bit easier.
This goes to the Jimmy Smith thing of thinking 20 bars ahead. The best sight reading I ever got, Drella, advice was to start working ahead of where you are.
Yeah.
Start reading.
Looking at like speed reading or whatever.
Speed reading,
right?
like you're looking down the line from where you're playing.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get 50, 60, 70, 80% of what is actually on the page.
Yeah.
But you have to read before you're playing.
Yeah.
Like you have to be 1 bar, 2 bars ahead.
Right. And I think that this is something that, like some of the other stuff we were talking about, is not going to happen right away. You have to work on it. So don't jump right to 20 bars ahead or even 4 bars ahead. And you got to take your time. This is a skill that definitely anybody can develop. So I've found that sight reading is one of the least sort of talent specific skills.
Yeah.
You know, anybody, I mean, like some people, just the way their brain works or the way that they've developed it or the experiences they have when they're younger could cause them to be able to excel more.
But most pianists naturally have the hand-eye coordination to take care of sight reading.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so for piano, it's just harder than other instruments because we got 2 different clefs. We got a lot of different things that it can be done. But one thing I will say, in my experience, I'd be interested to hear what you have to say about this, Adam, but sight reading has never been like riding a bike to me, in that, you know, they say like you never forget how to ride a bike. You get back on it. It's like you never were off of it. Sight reading, if I don't do it for a while, I lose it. I don't lose it totally, but I mean, my skills go way down to the point I'd be crashing on a bike.
Yeah, if I have to do anything that I'm reading, I actually have to take a lot of time to practice it. Now, if I'm in the groove, like you said, if you've been reading a bunch and someone calls for a reading gig, it gets a lot easier and easier.
Yeah.
But you do have to keep up with it if you want to do it.
Yeah, and I would just say the best way to practice this is to get some big books. You can get it from a library or whatever, or on eBay. You know, you don't have to spend a bunch of money, of like sonatinas, or if that's a little bit challenging for you, you could go a little more basic, or you could even go like Mozart sonatas or something. But or just like some grade 3 and 4 like kids classical stuff, if that's the level you're at.
Yeah.
And then just every day spend, if you've got 20 minutes a day or even 30 minutes, that's great, or even 10 minutes a day, sight reading. But it has to be stuff you don't know. Like, it's not sight reading if you kind of know it, because then you're using your ears and different things, which is fine. But you have to develop that, like, just taking something on the page and being able to turn it into music. And you got to just keep going through it. You can do it slowly, and you should, as you need to. But this is not about perfection, because you got to learn. Part of sight reading, especially as a pianist, is faking.
You have to be able to
You have to be able to fake, right?
Yeah. But just...
I mean, and by faking, I mean like learning how to leave some things out so that you can keep going, especially like for big band charts or something.
And Drella, when you practice this with like a metronome, to where you don't stop.
Yeah,
like you are at big band rehearsal, because they're not stopping for you.
They're not stopping. That first trumpet player is got the chops going, and And actually, so somebody else just asked, Zen Guitar says, what about sight reading hymnals? That's great. Although I've used those more for ear training stuff. But you can definitely sight read those. Those are relatively simple. You could do the Bach chorales. I mean, I've got the blue book of, I mean, I've worked on those so much that it's not really sight reading because I know them, but great for ear training. Pick out your voice. If you're an alto, if you're a tenor, if you're a bass, most of us can kind of straddle 2 different ones, and then play the other notes and then sing the one. That's some of the best ear training you can ever do, I think.
Jan's reading my mind. Practice sight reading with a metronome can be slow, but need to keep moving.
Yes,
absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't matter that you're going slow. You can start to speed it up, but the main thing is that you got to find that tempo that's pushing you a little bit. So you shouldn't be hitting everything perfect. You know what I mean? Like the level of the stuff that you're sight reading, and you don't have to always play new stuff. Like I'll go back to the Sonatine album. I forget it over time, but I definitely, when I know I'm going to be on like a studio session where I got to read stuff. And I mean, I've been talking about paralyzed and anxiety. Now that's something that'll send me to the anxiety bullpen right there. Just knowing I got to sight read some, like, as we used to say, long hair music, no chord changes or anything. And I did some stuff recently accompanying my son, some difficult classical accompaniment for like violin sonatas and stuff, Prokofiev and different things. And I'm in there like writing chord change. Daniel's laughing at me because I'm writing chord changes above, just because I didn't have enough time to really practice and get it. And I just wanted to be able to visualize and know, like, okay, this is where I'm going, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the ultimate jazz.
It's like B9.
Yeah. It's just to write the perfect chord chord progression and be like, what notes? I got it. All right, man. Let's get to the meat.
Oh, and just so you know, I don't know if you know about this, Adam. We have to end precisely at 5 p.m. Eastern today. Did you know that?
Why is that?
Well, that is because there is a premiere coming on this very channel. We don't want to overlap. I mean, unless you've got a real reason you need to keep going. From Bob DeBoo, a new video is coming up.
Nice.
Right at 5 o'clock.
Okay, well, let's get the hell out of here then.
Well, no, we got 22 minutes, but.
So let's bring up, I mentioned Language of the Masters.
Yes.
And hold on, I'm going to share here again in the chat. We'll put this in the description of the video once we're all done here. You could save $30 today, which is pretty good.
Yes.
And we're not going to keep this video up, everybody. So click that link if you want to get in on this. This won't be available very long, but we want to hook our live peeps up here with it. So Language of the Masters, Peter and I, we go through 5 different piano solos, all on a blues, actually.
Yes,
Wynton
that's
Kelly,
kind of the theme.
Yeah, Wynton Kelly on no blues, Thelonious Monk on Bags Groove, Miles Davis Bags Groove, Oscar Peterson on a live video of C-Jam Blues.
Oh, live in Denmark.
Yeah, Chick Corea from The Matrix.
Ever heard it?
From Now He Sings.
Starring
Keanu Reeves. And from Now He Sings, Now He Sobs. Yeah. And then Herbie Hancock, Eye of the Hurricane, minor blues. Yep. Many don't know.
All blues, but all different.
All blues, all different. Not actually, all blues is not on there.
All blues is not on there.
No, but so we go over all 5 of those, and we break down what's going on. There's beautiful transcription.
Break it down.
I do guided practice sessions based on the solos and concepts from the solos.
Yes.
So it's really like a very comprehensive thing. It's really about learning the language of these masters. So I thought, in honor of the course launch, Peter, we could do a little bit of a Language of the Master for something that's not in the course.
Yes. And then I've heard this, but I'm not I didn't refamiliarize myself with it today.
This will be a pretty fresh reaction, and maybe we can just break down.
Funky fresh.
Someone that we don't cover a lot, but this is from a live video. Can
we explain why we don't cover him a lot?
Well, because usually ECM is very litigious.
It's a litigious German company, great label and everything. But yeah, we'll see what happens today. If this live ends immediately, it's because they are
they might get
assaulting
us. But we'll see. This has been on YouTube for years. So what we're about to play.
Yeah.
So hopefully not. If you want to share there, camera 4, Peter, and we can
focus. Okay, we're gonna go. How about if we do this?
Okay.
Is that something that would interest
you? Look at that guy. So that's Keith Jarrett, everybody.
That's Keith, Mr. Jarrett.
Mr. Keith Jarrett, one of the greatest pianists who's ever lived. And this is him on Oleo, which is why we played Oleo.
That's right.
That was maybe a bad call to start with Oleo.
As we were doing it, I talk about getting aside.
Should we play it now before Keith plays?
Let's play it with him.
to play a rhythm changes and then be like, but let's hear from Keith Jarrett.
You've heard it our way. Now let's hear it his way. We all got something to say.
Yeah. So this is Keith Jarrett on Oleo, and this is transcribed by our very own Max Gamiz. I think this is a super interesting solo.
And if our YouTube channel is shut down in the next 30 seconds, please join us. We will be starting a new YouTube channel.
We're going to be out in the parking lot here giving out free copies. No, this is, of course, the Keith Jarrett Trio, Keith Jarrett, Gary Peacock, and
Jack DeJohnette
on the drums. This is Oleo. Let's have a listen, and then we'll go back and talk about some things. Sound good?
Cool. Here we can go. He knows he's about to be killing it.
That's being in the moment right there.
Yeah, what was I talking about? Being a fan, see? You're not just a player, you're a fan, too.
What's happening is pretty great.
Yeah. Jack. Huh.
Do you like the pentatonic scale?
Is that proper technique he's using? Textbook. Huh. Whoa.
Do the notes matter?
They don't really matter. Those 8 bars right there. Woo! 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 Whew.
Yeah.
Damn, why didn't I play that?
I think I did.
Woo! Thematic much? Man, that's like a Got Milk commercial right there. So clear. Very little left-hand comping. But now there's some.
Little Lester leaps in there.
Yeah, man. Ha!
All right.
It's so great.
It's gonna go on and on and on from here.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Man. Woo!
I have been sitting on this. Max, shout out to Max Gamise who transcribed this,
Yeah,
our in-house open studio transcriber. I've been sitting on this for months, Peter, not really knowing what to do with it. But when today's episode came up, I was like, I finally get to use this Keith Jarrett trio transcription.
Oh my God, so good.
So the thing that jumps out, obviously, is just
are his gray Dockers.
The gray Dockers.
The way he jumps out of the seat wearing those gray Dockers.
So stunning and crisp. No, I mean it's that pentatonic scale, right?
Yeah.
It's like the ultimate of like, okay, we know that we can be as hip as we want, right?
That's right.
With all kinds of stuff.
Do the notes really matter?
Do the notes really matter if you can do this with a pentatonic scale? This is all just B flat major pentatonic, right?
Yeah. And he's riffing. He's riffing hard with that, which pulls it out of that, like, you know, really kind of pentatonic, automated sort of, hello, I am a pentatonic scale.
Yeah,
he's riffing on it melodically.
It's not like he's going...
No.
Or even, like, you know, fast runs with it.
Yeah. It's like got those cells.
Cells, exactly right. So he's taking, like, this.
A lot of confidence with that, too.
Right? Because he's perfect as it is. Like, all of it is so good. And then, when he does something like this... Whoa!
Yeah, it's like he set it up.
Now it's even more effective than if the whole thing were that. Why didn't we think of this when we were playing Olio?
And the architecture of this is so interesting because it's, you know... like the smaller cells, riffing, setting up the rhythms, and then he can go on this long phrase.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, as funny as it can be, or not funny, it's just somebody mentioned, like, how can he look physically and, like, the singing be so different? In a way, it isn't. Now, you're not going to see him dance, but the way he moves up on that phrase, it kind of makes sense.
I'm going to see him dance.
The way he gets up in his Dockers and really, like, that's a long phrase, you know?
The way he gets up in his Dockers.
But I mean, that's like a long phrase that he's going, and like harmonically, he's stretching out, but melodically, it's all coming from that. But I mean, like the timing of the notes for how he comes through that phrase, like that's not easy. I mean, I know on the page, it's like, you know, well, can we listen to that same part again from that?
From the top?
Well, no, just from that chorus we were just listening to before he goes into the long phrase. When he's maybe that is the top. No. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about before the bridge here? So
yeah.
It's all this. Nope, it's not that.
Man, it's also good though. It's
I know,
like,
it's also good. It's this.
Yeah. Yeah, right there. Huh.
Like nothing in this is like super incredible.
No.
Diminished scale stuff, but it all is so perfect as it is set up, you know, precisely by this. That phrase, he's obviously thinking this.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, Keith is Mr. Jarrett is such a master of like being right on that edge, like living in that zone where to the lesser pianist, which is like just about everybody else on the planet besides him, it'll be super corny what he's doing. It's actually really risky when you're just like, you know, you're not like all the crap that I do to kind of spice things up. Like he's just like really leaning into precision, but in a very human way of his phrasing and the architecture. So when you've like, and then of course his incredible technique and the way he can sculpt the sound of the instrument. When you've got that at your disposal, like you can really lean into some triads, to some pentatonic scales. And then, like you say, even when it sounds like he's going way out harmonically, he isn't actually. It's just because he's starting so basic, but then the sophistication of the melody and how it interacts with the form, you know, like when he's coming up to the bridge and on the A section, it's just brilliant stuff.
Well, and the difference between this and, you know, what I did in my lame ass attempt in the beginning, but it's the confidence to be this simple.
Yeah.
Like it takes a ton of confidence.
Vision and confidence.
Vision and confidence, and knowing that his rhythmic sensibility is so strong that his ability to craft phrases and to be in the pocket and to be in the moment is so strong. I don't want to understress the first chorus of this solo. I'm going to listen to the top and I'll mark the first chorus of the piano solo. Okay. It's going to seem weird. And I'll tell you.
It's about the chorus where he's just smiling and okay.
Let's listen to it again from the top. The first chorus of this solo tells you everything you need to know about Keith Jarrett.
Are they playing the real book melody on this too? Oh, total freedom. And then just total rhythmic clarity. It's foreshadowing, right?
What do I play here? He's about to.
Look, he's feeling it though. He's feeling it.
I don't want to get in the way.
You know what? Next solo, I'm playing this exact solo. I'm not even gonna learn the rest. I'm gonna learn this first chorus, or up to the bridge. Woo! Ah. Simplicity.
But this this just sets it up so perfectly. You're letting the entire room know we are.
But you know what the thing is? Like
letting everybody. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Finish your thing. I got it.
Letting everybody know we are here in the moment.
Yes.
This is happening live. This won't ever happen like this again. I'll prove it. I'm not going to let this happen. I'm going to let this evolve and unfold. Even when I come in, I'm going to come in with a B-flat pentatonic scale. The gentlest way you could bring someone in from this. You know?
But with him taking all that preparation time, it's like if you're getting up, think about like you're getting up to do a speech and everybody's clapping and you get up there and then you adjust the mic. You know, it's good speakers.
Yeah.
And then, you take like 30 seconds to just acknowledge the crowd and smile. Like every second that you're not starting your speech, you're putting pressure on the first thing you say. You better nail it. You better not be like, You know what I'm saying? So it's like he is very subtle the way he starts the actual solos at the second chorus, but he's killing it. He's really killing it there, and that's not easy to do. But he's not stressed at all, obviously. I mean, he's just like, he knows it's because we talk about before, like how many bars he is in the moment to me. Like he lives in the moment. So it's kind of like he didn't plan that. He was just like, I want to listen. He wasn't thinking, what are people going to think of me? Or is that going to be weird? They're paying to see Keith Jarrett. And I'm just like wearing my Dockers and looking crazy and not playing the piano for 32 bars. No, he doesn't care because he's thinking about the music.
Yeah. He's not thinking about his crisp white belt. He's not thinking about that
at all. Does he have a white belt on? I didn't see that.
He does have a white belt on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
And he's killing it, Peter.
Yeah.
And he sounds amazing in it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Here one more time for just all of you people. If you want to check it out, if you've never bought an open studio course, get this for $30 off. Check that out, everyone.
Yeah, for sure. Language of the Masters. And we want to say thanks for everyone for being here. We got just a couple more minutes. We're going to jump off. If you have a chance and want to see some more great open studio stuff.
Are we still in the air?
Yes, I think so.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah, it says on air.
No, but I'm just because, sometimes the Keith police.
Oh, right. I know. Right. Somebody was saying. So I guess that's, what do you mean, you people? Laughing out loud. Just kidding. Oh, got it. Wait, who said you people?
Ross Perot.
Oh.
No, in a derogatory way.
Chris, I focus in on everybody here, but when I see Chris's comments, I'm like a tractor beam because he's very funny and witty. So, but yeah, absolutely. You're building the audience's attention. And that's what I'm saying. Like once you do that, you've got to bring it. But the cool thing is like Keith's technique is amazing. Like the velocity, like he doesn't even pull that out a whole lot. Well, he does pull it out. And if you're a pianist, you understand it. But he's like one of those pianists. To me, he's a pianist because his technique is so great, but you wouldn't necessarily know it. Like Oscar Peterson's a pianist too, but he's a little different in that like, anybody, including Dick Cavett and all this stuff, it's just the virtuosity is so in your face. Keith's virtuosity is a little more subtle in a lot of ways, so it sounds great, but he makes it seem very easy. Oscar Peterson makes it seem easy too, but when you actually start to think about it, you're like, oh, it's easy for him, but it's not easy for me. Keith, you can almost be fooled into like, oh, I could do that little pentatonic thing like we tried to do, and then we falling flat on our faces.
Speak for yourself. I sound great. Yardbird Sweet has the best question of the day. What's the consensus on Emo's Pizza?
Emo's Pizza is horrible.
Oh,
Emo's, come on, man.
We gotta go.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna tell you the biggest problem with Emo's Pizza. And this is coming from a plant-based guy.
I want to.
There's no cheese on it. That's not cheese. By law, they can't even call that cheese. Did you know that?
We got to stop this show. This is ridiculous.
Provel is not cheese.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see, everybody, if we're even here next week. I don't even know if I could. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
You like emos?
I love emos to my core.
So just so you guys don't know, stop digging, Pete. Yeah, I'm digging. No, this is the thing. Emos is like one of these things that St. Louis is known for, and it shouldn't be known for because we got a lot of other good stuff. Scott Joplin, Miles Davis, ever heard of him? Jimmy Forrest. Got a lot of stuff we could be talking about.
And Emo's Pizza.
Yeah.
Jeez,
but on a serious thing, because I see Weed and Wine, What's Up, Weed and Wine, talking about Facing You, that's an incredible record. Steve mentions that too. If you guys want, everybody kind of just, because this has become, as it should, a Keith Jarrett Love Fest, drop in the chat here on our way out what your favorite Keith Jarrett album is. Because I think I know all his music, but I bet I'm going to see some albums I've never heard of. And I'm going to start things out. This is going to look like it's coming because I'm logged in as
We've got 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm going to put Facing You because that's my favorite. That's going to come as open studio. If you'd like to do yours, Adam, and everybody can just chime in. And this doesn't have to mean the only one. Oh, Melody in the Night with You. I love that. I can picture the album cover, and I remember at a very high level, of course, all this stuff.
I think the greatest intro Keith records though it's probably Standards Volume 2.
Ooh,
is really, really good. Yeah. Also, there is one he made
Never
called
Let Me Go. Is killing it.
Called Bye Bye Blackbird with the trio.
Yes.
And it was a dedication to Miles.
Yep.
And it's amazing. It's
Agreed.
incredible.
Agreed.
I think it's the trio at their highest point. Those two trio records are great intros because it's all standards, right?
Yeah.
It's all tunes you probably know.
Yeah,
all the things you want to hear Keith play. All the Things You Are.
Yeah.
Stella by Starlight. Like When I Fall in Love, and they're all so gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I recommend all of those.
And really, you know what's surprising? I shied away from it for a long time because it's not my favorite venue. Live at the Blue Note, he did a box set. You remember what box sets are? Before streaming stuff.
Yeah. I dropped so much coin on box sets and I never use them.
But Live at the Blue Note in New York, he did an extended thing there, and that record's really good. I'm not a big fan of the sound in the Blue Note, and having played there some extended gigs, I've never had a great I've had some fun there, but it's not like the Vanguard or something, and so I shied away from it. But that record is amazing. I mean, I don't know, as particular as Keith is about his surroundings and stuff. I mean, he can transcend us.
The Live at the Blue Note one?
Live at the Blue Note.
Absolutely.
Don't sleep on that.
No, absolutely true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, really, anything is good. It's all good. They're all different. He's had such a varied career.
Forest Flower. That's a good one. That's not his record, though, but he's killing on that. Very young Keith Jarrett. Ever heard it? Charles Lloyd?
Yep.
Nice one.
One of my favorite.
Live in Berlin.
Yeah.
Live in Munich. I think that's the solo. Oh, Jasmine duet with Charlie Hayden. See, I don't know that record. Do you know that?
I don't, but we got to get going, Peter, because we have a premiere coming on our channel in less than a minute. And so thank you, everybody, for listening.
Todd's asking about where can you hear the complete You'll Hear It theme. You can go to Spotify and search for Peter Martin, Emotion. But we could play it now on our way out, I guess.
Bam.
I don't know. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Cheers.
Peace.